Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is students. Once again, this video is going to be a little tutorial on rogues with the new patch. I'm going to show you what spec, in my opinion, is the best, and what to do, rotations, and such. So, let's get on into it. My primary spec that I like, and I think that's going to be a pretty big one throughout the patch, and hopefully maybe in mop, but we'll have to see. The spec I'm talking about is assassination. It is very similar from the spec back in BC. I don't know if you guys have played back then, but it's pretty similar, and it puts out insane damage. Main abilities, obviously Mutilate and Venom, Venomous Wounds, and Vendetta. My talents I've picked: Night Stalker, Deadly Throw, Cheat Death, Preparation, and Dirty Tricks. And I explained why I picked all those in my first video, which was about the patch. So I won't really go much into those. Obviously, I did that with the glyphs too. But mainly what I want to talk about is how to play this class in a PvP setting, duels, and BGs, etc., stuff like that. Usually, the important thing about assassination, and one of the big things about it, is it's focused more around your poisons and your bleeds. So you want to make sure you get those applied as soon as you can. Usually when you burst, start out with your burst. Usually what I start out with when I am against a target. Usually if it's melee, I always start out... Sorry about that, guys. I got DC'd here. Let me log back in here quick, and I will begin where we left off. Alright. Now, I usually start out, if I'm going against melee, so warriors, death knights, the rogues, etc. I usually start out with cheap shot, obviously. So I cheap shot. After I cheap shot, I get full combo points. Then I rupture. And then once I rupture, I have my rupture. Oh, and then I also apply Vendetta, which increases my bleed effects substantially by, I want to say, 25%, which you can see right there. So I apply all that. So I have my poisons, I have my bleeds, I have my Vendetta down. And then once I have all three of those down, I vanish. I let those ticks bleed on the target for a little bit so they get low. And then once I see they're low enough and my cooldowns are kind of dissipating, I go back onto the target with the cheap shot, open up again with the rupture. Then they're pretty much done by that time. But if they're not, I just keep mutilating, cheap shot, do what you do to survive. Usually dismantle. And then, I mean, they should be dead by that time. But let's say if it's a caster. Casters are a little more tricky for me, since most of the casters I go against can obviously heal. So letting those bleed ticks won't be as good as it would be against a melee class, because usually they can't heal. So if I'm going against, I want to say mage, locking and that stuff, I do open up with the same burst, but the end game is going to be a little bit different for me, because they can heal, obviously, so they can easily get to full health. So it's basically that rotation again and again until you can get them low enough, and obviously you put in your survivability abilities. Obviously, try to survive. I mean, I could go step by step by that, but that would be kind of I couldn't really do that. I mean, I could, but it would just take a long time. So I was going with that. So that's my rotation usually for PvP. Right now, it might not be the best out there, but in my opinion, it's what's been working for me. I've won most of my duels. There's a couple people that I can't beat, like Shadow Priest sometimes, and I want to say Holy Paladins. I mean, obviously the healers are going to be very hard since they kind of got buffed, but that is my opinion and my thoughts of the talent specs, and and the spec I like to play as, and how I PvP. And now this probably might not be the pros tips or the epic skills of awesomeness, but I bring to you what I see and what I do and how I test it out. And I mean, I didn't look up any other specs or anybody else for this. I just did it on my own, and I feel like this is working for me. I mean, you guys can always leave in the comments, say, hey, you know, change this up, you're doing this wrong, you're a fucking noob, whichever you guys would like. Perfect example right here. And boom goes the dynamite. Alright, as you just saw in those two duels against a Death Knight, which was very geared, and that Warrior, which was also fairly geared. As you can tell, Death Knight's a little troubling, but if you get the dots on him, you let him tick for a bit, and you get him in the right position, you can definitely do some damage, as you saw with those crits. And against that Warrior, I don't think I lost a thing of health, and he literally got destroyed and didn't have a chance to move. So that's my spec, my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later. Bye.